following. Those issues have not been swept away. If we go into the election as it is right now, and that stuff is still there, it may be brought up against it. Don't forget that case went to the courts about his certificate. Whether it has been solved or it has not been solved, we are not too aware.
There are many angles to litigation.
Thank you. There are many angles to litigation. So these two people, these are the things worrying them, and the Ibori factor too is coming upon it and all that. In fact, from what we heard, I don't know how true it is. Yeah. I heard Ibori cried when the daughter, he was trying to beg for them to, because you know the daughter's
the
primary election went into a rerun,
yeah.
you know, and all that. And he called the elders and told them that, don't you guys remember me? My name is Ibori. And they told him that we don't know you. I don't know how true it is.
I don't believe that part.
I don't know how true it is.
Truthfully speaking, Ibori is very popular in Delta State.
Yes, but you know,
very popular, because you see all these Okowas and Co and the Duanga that came thereafter. When Ibori was governor, the man touched every corner of Delta State. In as much as there are, issues of corruption, like, of course he was charged at a point, but really he was very inclusive. Ibori was a very, very inclusive governor. Ask anybody from Delta State. And that is why he's still very, very popular. It's unlikely they don't know him.
But you know, at that particular time when Ibori came in, Ibori was riding on the master plan that was set by the Ibus.
Yes, certainly.
Do you understand?
He was attempting to do that.
Yes. Do you understand? And the Ibus too were quite inclusive in their
No. When you get to the first democratic governor of Delta State, he said Chief Olorugun Felix Ibru of SDP.
Yes.
You know, that's why if Chan were talking about SDP, we say SDP is not a new party. SDP is the party that brought Abiola. SDP in Delta State brought the first democratic governor. And Felix Ibru have this mindset of developing everywhere equally. But let's put that aside and move forward, Peter. We are looking at 2027. Okay? Ibori has always had Dele. He wished he was the replacement to Okowa and not even Sheriff. Do you think Sheriff will be able to appeal to him strongly that APC would probably leave, apart from David, whoever they have in mind, like we said earlier before, Omagege is still there? How will Sheriff bulldoze all this to get a ticket in 2027?
Wow. I call this a merger. I wonder how this merger of APC and PDP under APC umbrella will work. That will be trading. The old APC, like Ibori camp, have to trade some people. These
camp too.
Have to trade. These former governor of Delta State, what is his name again? Vice President Okowa and the group, they have to trade. It's going to be a win for one. They have to trade. That is the only way. They have to balance the power. We have the example. If you have 10 slots, you are bringing 3. Yeah. Governorship is gone. The current governor is retaining. So there will be trading. So let's see how it will go. And I hope that it was not going to cause an implosion. And if it causes an implosion, it's not guaranteed they win election. Because people will be inside the party and work against the party if they don't resolve this thing peacefully.
Yeah. Okay, of course, everybody's expecting some element of integration problems or issues. They are all still there. Looking beyond, let's look beyond. Maybe Okowa is looking for a refuge or things like that. Asiwaju could, in some form, want to have a formidable government as much as possible. Do you see him, because Okowa is a very smart person, no matter how you look at it, do you see him giving Okowa any kind of appointment to really integrate these people into this at the federal level towards preparing for 2027, so as to take him completely away from even working with them? That's even the last minute betrayal that Dele Momodu was warning him, which we'll talk about very shortly. I don't think the smart Tinubu that we know will give Okowa an appointment. I don't think so. That's number one. Number two, I don't think he will also go past Ibori to give Okowa an appointment. The issue of he could. We don't even know. That's why I asked whether this move got Ibori's blessing. So we don't even know how You know, it's politics. It's
Yes,
politics.
whether because Okowa, what does Okowa right now at this moment have to offer?
He's bringing PDP.
It doesn't have the structure of the PDP.
Who has
It doesn't in Delta State.
Yeah.
The governor has it as it is.
the
right
good
now.
governor and Okowa is
It doesn't.
Governor is the party leader. Okowa still retained the structure in Delta State. Ask any data.
The governor is a governor, whether you like it or yes. Whether the governor is your son,
the structure, the
is a
PDP
governor.
structure in Delta State,
Yeah.
PDP structure is still with Okowa.
Okay,
That I
so
can tell you.
let's assume it's with Okowa,
Yes.
right? But I don't think the president will be as wise and sensible as he is. He will
Because
give-
he's trying to broaden his base. That's what I'm looking at.
it's
That.
possible.
You see this structure we talk about. You know how their old style of
Political-
according to P2B, though it's not a top subject here. You see that criminal structure is what you are working against. You see this structure, they are being serviced.
Yes.
Some are through essays or unknown essays that don't even know their functions or whatever. Essays without office or things. Some are through, every month they just share that kind of money, things like that. They need a kind of this structure that Okowa has to prepare it for APC. Do you think Asiwaju might integrate them further by probably giving Okowa appointment so that people will not just say, oh, he was just running for
I'm
the
not
stage?
think. I think it's wise thing to do to water down the thing that the fight will happen. Give Okowa an appointment that you've settled that block. Now you're removing them from the fight of the soul of the party in the states. So it is a smart and necessary to do. See, everybody wants to be relevant in that state. Bring him to federal. He's still relevant. But now he can still fund his block. He can still fund his structure from the federal. So it will reduce the fight for the few vacancies that will be left in the state. I think it's the wise thing to do.
Let me come to you again on advice that we'll get back to this Okowa sheriff much later before we round up. Let's talk about the advice Dele gave to Asiwaju. You know, that is like, oh, these people can just be singing political song. Be careful. They are not moving to APC simply because they believe you are doing too well. They are also moving into APC simply because they love you. That you got to be careful. You know, what if Dele's prophecy becomes true? Or could Asiwaju be imagining, or does Asiwaju have always said that if I'm planning to do something with you, I will plan that you go with me. I also plan that you will not go with me. So, how careful can Asiwaju be about this? They are coming. More PDP people are coming.
I think, like I said, I think Asiwaju is smarter than that. He's an old guard dog that knows what to do and what not to do. He knows those are with him and those that are not with him. For example, look at the case of Aregbesola, Rauf, and Tinubu. They used to be like twins. Really. He installed Rauf in Osun State until his cousin, his nephew.
Adeleke.
No, not Adeleke, the other
minister,
governor,
the
minister
minister,
now
yes,
came, and both of them, everybody part to up to the extent we are talking about Rauf Aregbesola going to SDP at the moment. I don't know if you understand. So he knows that you can be friend today and you can be foe tomorrow. He has experienced that. He's an old guard dog that he may not have all the strength, physical strength to pull up, but he knows the tricks to pull and all that. So he knows that everybody is coming. It's not because they love him too much, but because they know that right now the mantle is with him. And the person the mantle is with is the one that has the power. The sky is with him at the moment. So he knows those that are with him, and those that, as they are planning to use him, he's planning to use them. I can tell you that for free. He's planning to use them. He knows that
So Dele Momodu need not to worry.
Well, it's good that you still sound that gong and tell him that war is coming, war is coming. Even though you are ready for war, you quickly pick up your guard. And I actually like what Tinubu is doing at the moment. It's not harassing people.
It's not overgagging people.
No.
I was saying it.
No, it's not.
You know, that arrest, detain him, arrest, arrest, detain.
Not even in the media.
Tinubu is not even doing it.
Not even in the media.
Yes. So far, he's not doing it. You know,
he's not.
You know, that's why when I call him Democrat, you people still have to give me that credit.
Please, don't bring that up here. Well, do you understand?
Yeah.
You know, so he's not
gagging people.
I like that about him. Do you understand? But the only thing I would advise that you can do right now is you take some of the advice which Dele Momodu said. No, not Dele Momodu. This Yusuf, this NHIS former
the prof.
Professor Yusuf. That he said, look, listen to the voice of dissent.
Yeah.
Some of these critics that you think they are criticizing you, listen to some of their voices. And take them as weapons, like you normally say. You say take them as weapons, put them into your toolbox. And
I think people are probably taking Asiwaju's kind of, they respond to every statement from opposition, but they are not gagging people physically, you know, because we have seen the cases where any A you said, they misinterpret it. It was only Felix Moka, that was trying to do that about Obi. I think he got serious fire, and
the firepower was too much.
The firepower was too much for Nigerians, and Felix Moka went back.
This is
democracy.
His aides have the right of reply to anybody.
Yes,
but that doesn't mean Tinubu said.
No, they're just doing their work.
They're just doing their work. In answering people, they've not arrested anybody.
No, they are not gagging, to be sincere.
So
we're not saying
for that one, I give Tinubu some
and it shouldn't happen because Tinubu is a freedom fighter. He's a Democrat, so that's what people should enjoy. So let me come to you, Peter. If you are to be in the helm of APC in Delta at this time, 2027, a lot can happen between now and then. But are you disposed to having this governor fly your tickets, or you are more open to having APC loyalists, those you know you've worked with? You know, they've suffered with you. This APC was in opposition in Delta. You know how it could be. Would you give tickets to this governor because they came, or you would prefer your APC loyalists to fly your ticket as a governor?
Yeah, I think this was negotiated before they came. I think if I was leader, this must have been discussed. They did no job. I didn't believe this happened yesterday. The process has been on for a while. This discussion has happened. A governor will not leave his party to move to another party without assurance that he will be the candidate for that party. So that is taken, that one for sure. I think he was agreed upon before this happened. But where they will have problem is other elective positions. There are people that have worked for this party. There are people that have committed their resources, time for this party. There are people that have suffered for this party. Now, you need to be compensated. Some have done this with hope they will be on the ticket for the next election, some for Senate, some for House of Rep, some for State House. So how do we manage this? That's why I said the trading must happen. Everyone should accept that some will lose out. That's just the truth. It cannot accommodate everyone. So they find a way to compensate others, maybe SA, one appointment, but for elected position, the number that's the influx, the number left there cannot accommodate everyone.
Okay, let's come to issues of the case that was announced against Okowa. You know, it sounded very heavy. For the first time, I was hearing 1.something trillion. Was it 1.3 trillion or whatever at that time? And which sounded more like media
absurd.
Yeah, absurd. And you know, I doubt if EFCC actually took their time to do investigation and say, oh, we've gone through the account, we've gone through this. This is the money we think is missing. If there's a wrong agreement signed or whatever, this is what we think was not fairly done. You know, do you think that case they announced that time that they are really going to go on proper investigation, and are we going to hear about it again?
It's a policy by APC.
What's the policy?
That when you come into APC, your sins are forgiven. We have seen it over and over again. It's not whether did they write it down or they did not write it down. All the people that came in, their sins are forgiven. They be forgiven. What's this? This noisemaker, FFK. His sins have been forgiven.
Have you heard about his case again?
They've all been squashed. They've all been squashed.
But I also feel, in a way, that's maybe Okowa would prefer it. But I also feel, in a way, that it's also a tent on his image if that case is not retired, because the announcement they made was too much. This is not billion, 1.3 trillion.
Was the case
because ordinary Nigerians like that. Oftentimes, this could be a budget. They would just rather call you to say, oh, this.
Okafor was the case in court.
No.
So they did investigation. They've not done due diligence before he was arrested.
But
don't forget, he was called to come and answer questions. And he answered the question correctly. That's the case.
What they did there is just a media trial.
But that media trial you are talking about, that's what I'm saying. It's a tent on its own image.
Do any Nigerian politicians have image?
There are things you will say that will make sense. Don't come and say somebody stole 15 billion.
Or trillion.
How much
1.3 trillion.
The states? How much allocation is this state entitled to? They multiply it by how many months you spend there. So let's assume that's the exact amount that came. Didn't he pay salary? Didn't he buy diesel for government generators?
Is it?
Didn't he run the government? From where? Did he get the money from heaven?
Let's put it this way. People say there is this intentional repackaging of cases so that it at the court they don't win. Why does EFCC like to announce figures that it's not exactly what the person stole or misappropriated, and at the end of the day, when they get to court, they lose out? Why not spend their time for investigation? Is there any time limit given to EFCC to do what they are doing? Spend your time on investigation. The offices are there. Delta State Government is offices. All the offices were still operational. Get all the information you did. Everybody get, and when you come to not media, when you now go to court, you should actually, because Nigerians are interested in integrity and accountability, rather than announcing money that you now used to do a negotiation.
What we need to first of all answer is that why is the EFCC coming from behind to come and tell us what a particular governor did when he had immunity, even whether you can prosecute or not? If a government money is allocated from the federal to the state or IGR, they know what the state have. As a result of banking details, am I correct? Contracts that are being executed. Now, from that period, you can tell us that this contract was overinflated, and that this and this and this were inflated. Money were transferred from this account.
At that time, look at how much they are using to do work.
Exactly.
So,
but there's no. They are not.
You know, I'm an advocate of that. I've always said it, Peter. I think we have discussed on this that I don't know why an agency of government, EFCC, that is staffed, are not proactive. You allow Jonathan said separate the goat from the yam. We started laughing. But now you allow goats to eat yam. After eating yam, you tell the goat, if you swallow that yam, I will kill you. Or if you don't vomit that yam, most of the yam is not going to be vomited. It's gone. The yam is gone. So why can't EFCC be proactive? You know, any money that leaves the government coffers is either paying for a job done, or is paying for services, or is paying for salaries, or any other thing. You know, there's not much they do beyond, you know, paying works, goods, and services. Those are basically outside the regular salary and the running cost, which are steady. Those ones are easily to track. Or maybe training for personnel and all that. Okay, why is EFCC not able? So that by the time you tell us, this person did this, the citizens and indigenous of the state or whatever are looking forward to recovering their money. How come EFCC are not proactive? Like he said, a governor might have immunity, but not immunity to details or data or in the offices. Why are they not proactive?
They're part of the system. In this country, most times we are reactive. We wait for something to happen and we react to it. EFCC could do better. See, they are not rocket science. Most of this money goes through the banking system. You know, this contract is awarded at social rates. Get the expert, they overvalue it. First, this contract is overrated. And again, why are you paying 100%? Why the job is at 60%? That should be an explanation. That should be a trail. But they don't do that. They wait till when you are done, when you've left office, when the money has been squandered, they come after you. And most times they are not able to recover the money, but it's gone. It's gone to the winds. So in this country, we are always reactive. We should be proactive.
Okay, let me come to you on that. Unknown to many people, EFCC pays SANS to go to court. EFCC pays for legal service to go to court. Are they, or do we also need to look into their operations as to why you know this case is going to fail? There is no substance against this case. You didn't do a thorough investigation before going to court. You have a bogus, this is corrupt. And you now go, judge, say, show me how much you stole it. You can't say. Where was it stolen? You can't say. When was it stolen? You can't say. Who is with? You can't say. You don't have that details. And could it be that they want to spend this money paying to SANS, and maybe, who knows, they also get some kickbacks or things like that. That is why they are entertaining cases they know they are actually not cases and refuse to do proper investigation.
Well, if I will take it on a broader note, I don't think this case is all about the EFCC alone. Whether it's the EFCC, whether it's the police, whether it's ex-CPC, whether it's even the military. How can the military arm of the government wait for terrorists to come and bomb them before they respond?
But in this case, I'm trying to narrow it.
I know. I'm just trying to tell you that is what happened is an Indio stuff about us. The same thing with EFCC. Do you understand? Most of the time, we normally ask how many prominent people that were investigated by EFCC were charged.
Yeah, because and the case succeeds in court.
And they were convicted. In fact, let me tell you how bad it is. Ojo Okalu that was investigated, went to court, jailed. From his jail, members of the National Assembly went to visit him.
Maybe they are personal friends.
Somehow that case was quashed.
And the case was quashed. Was he not out of jail? Did he finish the jail term? Did he come back to the house? Yes. All his remuneration, were they all paid? Yes. While he was in jail. Meanwhile, Natasha, that they said they suspended, everything about him was halted. Sorry. They were all halted. So these are some of the things you see with the structures that we have. At that particular time, this man was arrested, convicted, sent to jail for things he done against his people and Nigerian government.
Like you said too, some of these cases, EFCC sabotage this case. They make it so watery that you could not.
They can't process.
It has been negotiated.
They have been approached to do it.
It has been negotiated.
This reminds me of Yaya Bello. Nobody knows where the case is.
Okay, so did I tell you that Yaya Bello was there the other day when they were receiving the campaigns from APC to PDP to APC in FCT?
And there was a record that from the state coffer he paid for PhD for this child that hadn't even finished the first degree.
Is it only that one? The house he bought in Maitama, I don't know, rumors are flying in that he's been given back to him.
All right, we have a lot to discuss. Let's get back to PDP. But the judge was sounding tough, and I wasn't sure, I'm not sure he was aware of the tsunami of the campaign by Okowa and the sheriff when he was sounding that stuff. He was saying anybody that is acting like Atiku, anybody acting like Wike should leave PDP and go to other party. That he's one of the founding fathers of PDP. So passionate, very passionate plea. But people are even moving, people who are not even acting as much as Wike and Atiku are now already going. What is left in PDP, Peter?
Yes, let me give kudos to Bode George. It's only the art. When this issue started, they didn't respond to it. They let it linger. They procrastinated. See, they have their bylaws. You sanction what that goes against the party.
Like who?
Like Ricky. No. The party offended him. Let's not go there. Which is true.
Yeah.
But he went overboard. Like in PDP, you campaign against your party.
That's anti-party.
And nothing happened.
But now,
so every other person don't kill.
But now, I do know that. But all of these people now are leaving. Okowa has left APC, PDP to APC. Sheriff has left PDP to APC. But Wike is still in PDP. Do you think Wike can rebuild PDP?
Please, who offended
Wike? No, PDP did.
How?
See, at that, I'm not holding for Wike. At that primary,
yes.
Tamboa has spoken. You don't have the right to come back. You have spoken. So when the northern Kakos converged, he came back I said, it's in support to Atiku.
Is that an offense?
It's not an offense.
No.
If you have right to speak and you spoke, it's not an offense.
They gave the opportunity. Everybody had the opportunity to speak once.
No, maybe it's not in their laws to prevent anybody from speaking. If Wike had wanted to speak 3 times, possibly he would have been allowed.
Yes.
You've said what you want to do with your candidate, with your, what do they call it, delegates. And you've left the stage. Then he has been recommended to you that the delegate and you are going this way.
Okay,
and you came back and you moved your delegate to another person.
See, let me tell you, until it's over, it's not over. You know, before an election, you could decide to step down.
Yes.
And Tambuwal decided to step down. He
has voted. No. At that point,
they have made
he has cast his vote. You are saying, me and my delegate, we are standing behind this man.
You can pull out of election anytime, even on the morning of election. Police will not come and arrest you.
If it's in their constitution,
try and buy it from who can experiment this. Buy it from, and once the election has started, step down.
Pull out.
Nobody will come to your house.
They understand. So I don't think they offended him. They too didn't play the politics well after the primaries. After the primaries, they would have done well to integrate everybody and sometimes succumb to some people's whims and caprics. Now, I can remind you, I can know that you normally say something, that you don't just remove somebody. Give the person another option to either bring somebody or do something. Number one, he lost at the primaries. Number two, he begged to be vice president. Number three, he said, remove Iyorchia Ayu as the chairman of the party. Was it too much?
None was done.
Was it too much for him to ask? To me, it wasn't too much for him to, especially the third one. It wasn't too much for him to ask. They said, you stoop to conquer. That's what our people say. Now, on the part of Bode, let me talk about Bode. Bode is a TV politician now. He's an old man. He doesn't have the power to back his actions up. Dele Momodu, he's just trying to sound a voice of warning to the president and add his voice to what's being said. He's more of a businessman now. Do you understand? With his Ovation magazine and all that. He tries to use his conscience, voice of conscience, to try to say, let's do things the right way. Apart from that, these people don't have any power.
Okay, let's get into PDP state affairs. They just appointed some caretaker for Bayelsa and Edo. But it appears some, do we call them faction, some dissenting voices are coming out of, especially Bayelsa, saying they do not accept those, that is George Turner, to be their caretaker committee. They cited something very important, that is zonal committee that are appointed and that their own tenure itself is expired.
In March. Sometime in March. And they conducted election based on Wike's call. And they re-elected them back. And at the national office, they said that election was not required. Though they went to court to challenge the null and void call that came from the national party. But the court gave the judgment to was the zonal vice president. That's Wike's faction.
You know, I give this thing to Wike. Wike has the capacity to select lawyers. He hardly lose any case. Why are you laughing?
Select lawyers and select judges.
That I don't. But this another wrangling at state level. Those states, Bayelsa in particular. Is he going to kill the remaining fragments of PDP?
What I'm laughing is that
he wins his cases. So.
Somebody said it, I think from PDP. It's not one. Do the South caucus have the power to dissolve state committees? Say it's national have the power. But they're going ahead to do that. So that's things we should look at. So for them, Bayelsa, this is it's not happening. You know, because national has not dissolved them. So this South caucus.
Okay, let me put it this way. If all these governors decide to move to APC, do you think Wike will revive PDP for academic purposes, or himself will just go to APC? Because Wike is still PDP member.
You are the only one that is saying that one. You are the only one.
No, he has not moved.
Yes, I know. Yeah. But you are the only one that is saying that one.
He has not moved.
Because there are some things you don't even say.
He has
So
not moved.
Wike is a PDP member.
He's a PDP, he has not moved.
Did you have a meeting with him?
If he has moved, he would have told us.
Wike,
I don't believe Wike is a PDP member.
He has not moved.
Yeah.
Until said otherwise. He has not moved.
Okay,
But these people joining PDP, this governor joining PDP, Wike in APC. What do you think is going to happen? Don't you think they're going to bring the fight to him in APC? See, now he's a superstar because they are funding him to fight PDP. Now they have come to join him
He said
in
he
APC.
had the foresight. You know, he held.
But have you ever seen somebody in PDP hailing another person for going to APC?
Yeah.
That he saw this one before them, and you are telling me he's in PDP.
That's what Bode just said. That they should leave PDP.
Yeah, that's why
they make him to go.
That's why Bode George is saying they should leave PDP, meaning that they are still in PDP.
So do you think they will leave PDP?
I don't know.
I know.
So let's there's something I want us to discuss about CPC. You know, most maybe people that just voted for the first time, maybe during this last election, they may not have idea there is a party called CPC. CPC was the core party that Buhari used for election. That was in 2011. So, and there's these people that are like Buhari followers that came into the merger that built or that gave rise to APC. You know, they merged with a CPC, ACN, New PDP. I think there's this other...
There's Abga.
Abga, yes, a fraction of Abga. And
there's this one that...
that was surviving.
This man in Delta State normally used
Oboru,
yeah,
but that DPP.
DPP.
Yes, some fraction of DPPs. Yes. So that was what gave rise to APC. That CPC are the core followers of Buhari. And the identity is still being maintained in a way. And it's beginning to come out in the politics of today. Because some of that caucus are saying, people like El-Rufai that were going to form a coalition towards 2027 to challenge Asiwaju. Those people have foresight too. As if they knew PDP was collapsing, Labour is in shambles. I mean, MPP is a little bit too... not too much known in some other parts of the country because Kwankwaso was only able to win in Kano, so the spread, wasn't that much. Except a lot has happened between 2023 and now. Now, some other people from that same CPC are saying no. We are not going for any coalition. Yes, Asiwaju is doing certain things wrong, but he's also doing certain things right. That division in CPC, how is it going to help the North in the next 6 months that Baba Ahmed said will come with our resolution?
It's like a movement in the North. What you just said doesn't hold water. Only one person speaks in CPC, but listen, Buhari.
Yeah.
So when he makes that pronouncement, they will queue behind him. So these ones that are just speaking, they're just trying to make name for themselves. Because now, we don't even know, yes, he was in 7th Senate, 7th Republic, 7th Senate at the House of Rep. We don't even remember him. So a lot of voices will come out, those of politics. They want to be known. They want to be in play.
Yeah.
They want to be in play. How can he be in play? You don't be in play by keeping quiet. Now he has introduced something that this present government might want to cash in on. Okay, now we'll have a new road into CPC.
Yeah.
Let's use this and penetrate CPC. But once Buhari speaks, there will be order. As long as it concerns CPC.
Okay, when the Ganduje APC went to visit Buhari and talked about his followers, Buhari said everybody is free to join any political movement or affiliation they wish. Do you think that is a polite way of Buhari saying, I am not a supporter of Tinubu?
I mean, you can read the handwriting on the wall. He turned them back by that. He said everybody have a heart to do what they want to do. And we have seen the most prominent people during Buhari's time, like Malami, speaking and said that we will get back to you soon. And I've been trying to see his posters all over the place, he wants to contest for Kebbi State Governor. Of course, there's no party there yet and all that, because I have a common friend that he speaks to. So those are the things you see. He has told them everybody can do what is in their heart, because the Al-Markura side and the Al-Markura former Senate President, Thomas Masari, they are saying that we are the real CPC guys, and all that. We are with Tinubu.
I think it was the only governor that won.
That was Al-Makura. That was Al-Makura.
For National State.
Yes, but what's his name? The former Senate, Masari.
Okay, Masari. Former speaker.
Was former speaker. Then he now became, before he became governor, he was now CPC's, I think, one of the secretary,
national officers.
One of the national officers before they went into the alliance. He left PDP. So they said we are the one that had the power to speak for behalf of CPC, and all that. It's the same story. When we had PDP then, there's this PDM group that was headed by Yaradua. That's the late General Yaradua. And Atiku always said that he is the head of that structure. That's the PDM structure. And you know what this man did, Obasanjo dismantled the PDM structure. Yes. And I think that's what Tinubu is trying to do right now. He's trying to dismantle the CPC structure so that it will look as if they don't exist anymore.
By fractionalizing
them.
And all that.
It's a divide and rule system. Yes.
Okay. Let's move to, we've been talking about politics, but most of these things don't add up until we talk about INEC, the people that count the votes. Come 2027, INEC is trying to expand their ability to have more people participate in the voting process by saying, it is not going to be until you have your PVC before you can vote. You can vote with a slip that will be printed from INEC websites and all that. But they sounded a warning that they can't just go ahead and do it on a policy level, but there has to be a legislation to back it up. Do you think the National Assembly will be willing to aid INEC in that line? And do you also think, number two, that is going to help the credibility?
Number one is the time is too short for legislation. No matter how you see it.
We're having 2 years away.
They've not tried it before. They should have tried it in an off-cycle election.
You can't use it legally until it's in the legislature.
Yes, so what time frame do we have for them to do it? Now we have just over 1 year, a little, for them to come into this legislature. It will not just pass through the National Assembly here. It will go around the 36 states for it to be adopted.
As an act, not not a
constitutional change. Now, before they can do that, of course, we know under this Akpabio-led house that things can change very swiftly if they are determined to make it work.
Let me put it. If it's,
I wanted to answer the other one.
Right.
Now, the other one is that the credibility of this process, it has not been tried before. We should not go to a full election like this with things that have not been tried.
Okay, if Asiwaju, he just mentioned the national process or something that Asiwaju is interested in as the president, because if it becomes law, he's still the one that is going to sign it at the end of the day. So if there's a legislation that he's interested in and he thinks it's going to increase participation in the political process and it will deepen our democracy, do you think we can have that law passed so that you do not necessarily need to have PVC? If you have your slip printed, after our national ID, our slip is almost as valid as the actual.
It's even more
ID.
usable.
Even that's even what people have.
If you go to immigration right now, if you bring the PVC, they don't agree. They will tell you the slip they want.
So do you think the legislation will go through?
They'll pass it expediently. But my only concern is that can this card reader have to read it?
Yeah, because there's a barcode.
Okay, there will be a barcode. If there's a security that can secure
of course, Beavers is built for Beavers to verify it, yes. It's not going to be that, I printed slip and they will just believe.
From online.
No.
Because all these guys
will accredit you.
All these guys from the DJ Republic, they all come in and
No, Beaver will accredit you. Beaver will accredit you. And that's one good thing INEC has done They have almost abandoned IREV, the coalition with but they have not abandoned Beavers accreditation, because once you abandon that Beavers accreditation, there's actually no election.
So what brought out the two processes of IREV and Beavers at the same time? Why did they ditch one and they're still okay?
It's terrible. You know,
they should answer that question.
Let me tell you, I've said it times without number that these days you do transaction, they debit you immediately. There's no collation anywhere. Yeah. Once you vote, it should appear on the dashboard immediately from all over Nigeria. Once you vote, so I'm actually ashamed that a professor is heading an agency where you have to manually carry paper. You fill it, you add it. Individual will add it up, and I mean, it's actually an insult today. But let's put that aside. Before we round up, our time is fast spent, and we'll be rounding up very soon. But I want us to talk about what is happening in Abuja. Though a lot of people have issues that Wike, people might say he's performing. A lot of people are also saying that his performance are not based on preference. What do I mean? If you're having a hold-up somewhere and you are building a bridge there, you have an intersection that is overdue for a bridge. When you build the bridge, people will see the need for the bridge.
Solve the major problem.
But when you have an unemployed, if you have a population that is being realignment, a population that is strictly ravaged with youth unemployment, and you spend billions to build a bridge, that bridge is doing nothing for them. Particularly a bridge in a place that you are not solving a traffic problem. Because bridges are to solve traffic problems or impending traffic problems. You know, when you invest so much amount of money to build things that may not stimulate the economy, not everybody will clap for you. Some will clap for you because they are just seeing physical structures. Not everybody. But that aside, there's this particular project that Wike embarked upon, which is the refurbishing and revamping of the International Conference Center at the rate of 39 billion naira. People say it's not a priority. Now himself has issues that some proportion of the job, instead of Julius Berger, it has been given to another entity without his knowledge, and he was really angry.
Well, we first of all said that it was not an economic project. Julius Berger as not an indigenous company, they built the place, and they are the one that are assigned to renovate it. It's just near renovation. 39 billion was out of proportion. Now, I knew he was going there all the time to inspect. How come they didn't see it that it was a particular section of it was being done by a company that maybe Julius Berger brought in? I know Julius Berger has a furnishing company.
No, it's different from this. I don't know if that's what they use. If it is their own furnishing company, it's as good as them. That's AFP.
AFP, yes.
AFP, yes. I know. If it is AFP is Julius Berger. Exactly. So Julius Berger is doing furnishes, AFP that they are using. So essentially, it might not be AFP. Yes, it's not
the other time. I think they should have known. Well, them not knowing, I think is a trust that they couldn't hold.
Yeah. But do you think Julius Berger would go ahead, because Wike has summoned the executive secretary of CDA and the other people that are involved, that should be involved. Do you think Julius Berger will on their own go and engage subcontract a fraction of their work without the knowledge of the principal?
I don't even think Wike is suspecting Julius Berger. I think he's suspecting Abuja Investment Company Limited.
Maybe they did it
without his consent.
Yes.
That is his anger. See, I signed this contract and I signed it to Julius Berger. So why would a fraction be removed without my consent?
Not consent.
Why am I just finding out? I knew Wike in the usual way. They say, hey, we roll. There will be consequence for this action. So he did not complain about the quality of the work. He said, I've seen the work is good. I've seen the quality of the work done here. I'm okay with it. But my primary concern is that who is going to pay for this thing? But it's part of the contract you signed. The payment has been secured. But he's not happy that this thing was done behind him. He felt that maybe something has transpired that is not
and he said
legal.
wrong.
Yeah, he said there will be consequence.
Well, that's the language you always hear from Nigeria. When we went to the Olympics,
Actually, say, I'll wear the big stick.
That's what I'm saying. That's what everybody always say. When we went to Olympics, the minister said that minister from Calabar. He said that heads will roll. No heads have rolled. no head has rolled until he left the ministry. In fact, the day he left the ministry, he was so happy. Because I know I was on a program in AIT, even in NTA International, and even AIT, even Silverbird. They say everybody took head we roll, no head has rolled today. So
okay. We might have to be rounding up this our section of matters arising today. Thank you guys for being around, and hopefully next time you'll be here for it while we watch the development in Delta State. We
are hearing a lot of other states are coming on board.
Yeah, they are coming. But do you think our First Lady will have to visit all other states? Because our First Lady just went to Delta State.
She delivered her own.
That's
a bit.
So now our mama be this. The matter is settled. All right, thank you guys, and thank you for being there. All right, viewers, thank you for hanging around. This is Still Matters Arising. We'll be back next time. Until then.